Welcome to Platinum Show Investigations number 2, where I will briefly sum up my experience at WXW last weekend and talk about the show that I'm going to this Sunday at 3 p.m. Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Yes. And it's in Orlando, Florida, which is nice. But the story of how I even discovered this show is a weird one. And I'm going to share it all with you now. Now, WXW, people were asking if I was going to write a show report as well. The answer is no. And simply put, it's because their sound system absolutely fucking sucked. It was absolutely horrible and terrible. So I couldn't understand anybody that was being announced. I couldn't understand any of the promos. Now, I'm told that when they put the product up on video online on their website and such, that it is very easy to understand, and that's wonderful. And some people suggested that I go there. I tried many ways to get a run report, right? I asked people who work there. I asked people I knew who were on the show if they could somehow get a run sheet to me, some kind of breakdown of the show. I looked for that on their website. They didn't have one. So fuck. Sorry, I'm not going to write a show report, which takes a great deal of time, and have to go through all that. I'm just not going to do it. So let that be a lesson to shows I go to in the future. I have to be able to understand who's wrestling and what the hell's going on. With that said, here's my brief breakdown. First, though, I want to say I heard James Caleb Kitchens got into a car accident recently as he was doing videos. He does the one. It's like he's not doing anything illegal or anything dangerous. He has his camera there. It's mounted. He talks while he drives. It's all good. He got rear-ended. It's not his fault. But it was probably during or after one of the videos he was making in response to me. And then he got hit by somebody from behind. And so what does that mean? That means, of course, I hope he's doing okay. And it also means that clearly God likes me better, which should shock nobody. Anyway, WXW. I said there were 4 standards I was going to use to judge the show in an objective way, meaning I was going to give them a numeric assignment for each one of those things. Overall atmosphere, 4 out of 5. As soon as I walked into that place, it's like a city hall building. It's a big room. I liked it. Chairs on 3 sides, bleacher back here. It was packed. I put the crowd at, in fact, when I talked to the person taking the tickets, he said, a good crowd for us is like 80 to 100. And he's like, tonight, I can tell you how many tickets actually sold. Boy, was that nice to be able to get that information. Oh, liars of other promotions. 123, including kids. So the atmosphere was great. They had a great entranceway. It was festively decorated with balloons because this was right after Valentine's Day. Great entrance. The sound system looked like it would be good, but it was a fucking garbled mess. Though I was told that it was better than it had been previously. But the overall atmosphere of the show, it's very diverse kind of crowd. Black, white, old, young, a lot of kids running around. Everybody was into stuff. They were there to have a good time. You also had what I would call the Florida faithful, who are these old fat dudes who I see at all the Florida shows, who kind of yell shit and try to draw attention to themselves. That takes away a little from the atmosphere, but it's also kind of unavoidable if you have a decent wrestling crowd of any size. Oh God, do that shit, computer. All right, so I'd give it a 4 out of 5. It's pleasant. I would go back. There was nothing there that would instantly repel an outsider. And that's what I was. I was an outsider there for the first time. And when I talked to people around me, they were generally friendly, willing to offer stuff. One lady offered that she had been there 4 times because she worked at a gym where a bunch of the wrestlers went and they had been talking up the show, which I think is a good sign. If the wrestlers on your show talk up your show, that's a good sign that they like being on that show and that they're proud of it. And of course, it's kind of a show based around a school, though it's not entirely comprised of students at the school. In any case, then she brought people with her, including kids, for this time, and it was their first time. Good, good atmosphere. Wrestling. The wrestling, I would give a 2 out of 5. There were two matches that I thought had a really high quality, high level of wrestling. The main event was one, and the and then the fucking street fight thing I thought was outstanding. And then they had various levels of good to horrible wrestling. Again, wrestling is not the biggest deal in the world what happens bell to bell, but I would say that there's only two matches I remembered in the whole thing as far as wrestling goes. Otherwise, it's pretty standard fare to really badly done standard fare. Now, a lot of this can be excused by the fact that they have a lot of students and a lot of really green people on the show. It is what it is, but nonetheless, the wrestling often felt very pat. There were when spots were blown, they were blown horribly. But when it was very good, it was great and meaning fantastic. And the main event was just incredibly well done. I think Chico Adams as a heel champion is phenomenal. And the funny thing is, he doesn't do a lot. He does exactly what he should do, but he executes everything very well. And that's something that I would have wanted to see more at WXW. I'll go to a show in the future. Perhaps that part of it's going to improve. And like I said, that hardcore match, tremendous. I'll go through each match individually. Otherwise, even when there were people that knew what they were doing, often they were paired with people that didn't, and they weren't able to sort of cover that as effectively as I would have liked. So what am I giving here? 4 for that, 2 for that. Fun. How into it did I get? I'll give that a 3. I was with it most of the time, but when that sound system fucking by itself took away 2 points, honestly. I just was like, who the fuck is this? What is this? I can't hear it. They're cutting promos. They did a lot of promo segments, and they were obviously there to advance things and advance angles that should have been great, but I couldn't fucking understand it. And it completely ruined my enjoyment. But then the in-ring stuff and the angles when they were executed physically in the ring were pretty good. Now you're wondering, why isn't that lower if that sound system fucking fucked with my enjoyment so much? Because I also saw 3 things I've never seen before. And anytime you can pull that off in a wrestling show, I'm fucking impressed. One of them was, and they had multiple photographers around the ring, people operating cameras, and security people, like in every corner. And then they would have people with these cameras. And they did an angle where one of the people who'd been operating a camera all night slipped in and fucking interfered in a match. And it was phenomenal. And it was so out of the blue, and it wasn't like foreshadowed, it wasn't ruined in the least. She came in and did her fucking dirt, and it was awesome. And then they bridged it back in a later match, and then she had to kind of face the fire for what she had done in the other match, and that was also a surprise, and that was fucking delightful. The fucking Pineapple King guy, fucking loved him. They did spots with a fucking pineapple that were fucking awesome. That's something else I've never seen before. And the third thing is, I've never seen anyone get hit with a kendo stick that fucking hard at a wrestling show. It was fucking awesome. Don't believe me? Fuck. Take a look at this. Yep, that's the kendo stick fucking damage, which I had that wrestler send to me. And I also urged him, get pictures of that shit now after the match. Holy fucking shit. Fucking awesome. So yeah, 3. And again, with the great sound system, it could have been a 5. Intangibles. Well, that and they, as far as getting into it, the fact that they kept having interference or distraction in just about every match also rather took me out of it. Gotta book different kind of ways to get heel heat and different kind of ways for heels to get wins besides fucking distraction and misdirection. Though I will say it was incredibly well done every single time. Intangibles. Their concession stand fucking ruled. The people working, that family working the concession stand fucking ruled. They were very welcoming. It was very nice. The person who took my tickets, very welcoming, very nice, answered questions very readily, was very excited to be there and be a part of the promotion. You could tell the people working the concession stand were excited. They had 4 gimmick tables, 2 related to wrestling merchandise, and 1 related to somebody who's in that family, I think, but who writes books about all kinds of weird topics. Down. And then a gimmick table that had like wrestling figures of all kinds, including a whole bunch of loose ones in a big barrel that you could just buy. And it was fucking phenomenal. Very good. And again, I think one thing in Georgia, you generally don't get as many places that have gimmick tables. And then the ones that have them, usually aren't that fucking great, being honest. And so I was really blown away. Other intangibles I enjoyed. People were just into the show. There was, even though there were 2 guys that would just yell stuff and attempt to be funny and kind of take away from shit. For the most part, that crowd was just down. They wanted to fucking boo heels and cheer faces, and they were all about it. And when something was incredibly well done, the audience would reward them for things being well done and well executed. And it was pretty great. What else? It wasn't a hard place to get to, though finding the entrance of where you went into the wrestling thing itself was fucking a pain in the ass. They got to fix that. They got to let people know where to go, what to do, all that kind of stuff. They did worry about kayfabe. They didn't want people to see when they were bringing in the plunder for the freaking street fight. I kind of caught them, but the only reason I caught them bringing in the plunder, which they were very concerned, I overheard them saying, like, uh-oh, are there fans there? Then we need to go in another way. I appreciate that. But the fact that I caught them because I couldn't find how to get in the fucking building, that's a bit of a problem. Intangibles, $15. I guess fair for that show. That seems to be going rate in Florida, I suppose. In Georgia, it tends to be $10 for general admission. In Florida, the venues tend to. It feels like at least the shows that I'm starting to go to, it's like the venues are smaller and they charge 15. Okay. Other intangibles. The show ran 2 hours on the fucking dot, including an intermission, and it started right on fucking time. And it was easy to know when the show was, what was going down. They promoted the next show without hitting you over the head with it. The show flowed. It made sense. Intangibles, 5. So that's total score of 14 out of 20, which again, that's 70%. That's a C. But again, you factor in that it's a student show and there were a lot of greenies, and so the wrestling score was lower than it should be. And you take out that fucking sound system, they go from a low C to a high B. That fucking sound system. A couple notable things before I talk about the next match. I did like that. I mean, it just felt like a great place to bring a family and a great place to enjoy a show. They had security there who were obviously students at the local school and that kind of thing. But, it just felt like a place where you were in good hands. Whenever the wrestlers would fight near the rail or near the audience, security would be right there to make sure audience members wouldn't get hurt and audience members wouldn't get in the way of anything or get too excited and touch one of the wrestlers and that kind of thing. Just really professionally done. I mean, it's something akin to you would see at a WWE level show. And that was really impressive. I've never seen that at an indie. A security team that was that on it and trained. What the fuck? Usually security just means you're a big fat white dude with a shirt that says accurate because you're fat, and so the S and the, you get what I'm saying. You notice the A and E and a net are going out as their boobs get bigger. Stand by me. Love it. Anyway, so security actually looked trained and like they'd done that before, and the ticket taker didn't just look like somebody's little brother. I mean, he done it before, and the concession was professional. And by the way, the concession, everything was $1. Hot dogs, candy, soda, pizza slices, $2, and the pizza sold out very quickly. It was great, and the hot dogs were fucking good. Yeah, fan. The show started at 6:30 on the dot. At 6:20, they did a freaking vignette with one of their lesser champions. Again, I couldn't understand a fucking thing. They hit the national anthem at like 6:27. One thing I found weird about the national anthem, and I know you're going to say this is weird, one of their babyface women was in the ring, and then she was like lip syncing the national anthem, which was like the Whitney Houston version. And she was lip syncing it and doing these like weird, like interpretive dance movements. And I got what she was going for, but to me, it just felt like kind of out of place. And I don't know if the national anthem is one of those times you want to like fuck with shit. Just an observation. Again, this is how I critique. I fucking talk about what I saw and the impression that it made on me. You notice I care less about what happens bell to bell. I mean, wrestling's wrestling. It is what it is, right? There was some promo that happened that led into some kind of match, again, because I couldn't understand anything on the fucking microphone. I mean, again, I know you've had to hear this many times. And then it ended with, I think, the heel winning. It's whatever. And then you had ethnic bandana guy against skinny white boy. Couple botched spots in that. There's a lack of intensity in their selling. Um, the facial expressions when they were done were fantastic. They just need to do them all the time. The match was perfectly serviceable for what it was, except for the occasional botched spot. They did too much, of course, and the whole bunch of big moves ended in a super kick and a pinfall. Promo from a prominent guy who I've seen at a few Florida shows, and I saw where WXW followed up on their Facebook page and had a picture of this commissioner guy in the fucking hospital, which is fucking great. I wish I could have heard what was going on. Group of dudes, a whole bunch of heels came, fucking fought him, beat him down. Another babyface came out to save him, which I liked. Even the WWE is slipping on that shit lately. If there's somebody who everybody likes is getting beat down, wouldn't somebody come and fucking help them? This person did come and help, but they got fucking waylaid too. Strong heels right from the start. That's the story of the show. Down. Female referee who I've seen, I believe she wrestles as well, but she was a fucking great referee. The other referees weren't really notable. They were okay. But the female referee, Elaine Simon, I believe is her real name. I'm not sure. She wrestles as something else incidental. Really great referee. Really great look. The physicality to keep up. Is a female tag. Two tag teams. The babyface tag team, pros, you could tell. The heel tag team, one of them, pretty good. The other one, not so good in the ring. You know, I'm not going to go into it all that long. That hardcore match, bro. Vinnie Mac and I want to say John Scott or something like that. Fucking unreal. Went about 10 minutes, which was not a minute too long. They went at it hard. The clever use of the fucking garbage can, the clever use of the fucking the kendo stick shit. Oh my god, those 6 shots, and they happened to the baby like a few minutes in, and at that point you could just feel the whole crowd. They were like, whoa, this is some serious shit. And they got into all the false finishes. It was just really fucking good. Really fucking good. And that's when I heard, intermission happened, and then I got the crowd count and 123 tickets sold. Okay. Number 5 was a masked guy, looked Super Dragon or something against Roma something or other. Another match where you had a bunch of heels show up and distract, and then a match that really got to be excessive. 6 is a tag match, which was probably the match that I liked the least, even though I didn't know who the fucking faces and heels were. That was really hard to tell in the beginning, which is already a pet peeve of mine. I just assumed the Renegades, or I caught that name, were the heels because they had Justin Michael as their manager. I like Justin Michael a lot. He was also part of like AWE's manager search and all that shit. Um, how did it go? It went really well, except the wrestling itself was shitty, and then the hot tag was shitty. So what went really well? I love the whole idea of it, and that's hard. Their presentation at WXW in general is so well done that when a match doesn't live up to something wrestling wise, and then it just feels like it dragged. This was the only match that I felt went too long. That's not a good sign, right? And then we had a women's match with their women's champion. This was really fucking good. And by the way, in the women's tag, that's when we had the photographer who like interfered. And then this women's match that found its way back in, and I thought that was really clever. And the match was short; it was like 5 minutes 14 seconds. They obviously wanted to give the main a little time, so this match probably got cut for time, which ended up being just fine. And then the heel used the belt and won. And then the main event, Pineapple King against Chico Adams. I love the presentation, that this was a title match. It was presented as much bigger. They waited until both guys were in there to announce it. The fact that a pineapple got used and it was cool as it was. And Chico Adams was really great. He had this manager who I've never seen before who just looked like a dude. That was at first my gripe. He's just like this kind of nerdy dude. And I was like, eh. But that manager did a really great job and works well with Chico Adams. And the Pineapple King, in spite of losing the match because of a dastardly use of a second pineapple when he was distracted, um, the crowd left happy because they got to see Pineapple King kick ass and do a fucking spot that I've never seen before, where the manager from the apron went to hit him with the pineapple and Pineapple King blocked it. Took these biting chunks out of the pineapple. I mean, he went all around like corn on the cob, bit through the fucking skin of the pineapple. Holy shit! Chew, chew, chew. Spray, Muda spray with fucking pineapple mist in the manager's face, who sold it like it was fucking cow urine mixed with lighter fluid lit on fire. It was fucking awesome and a great payoff, and justice served. It felt like, even though the face lost, just him spraying that manager seemed to be satisfactory to the crowd. But Chico Adams picks up the win and goes on to be champ, which is probably the right move, because you should really make them want to see Chico lose that title and build that up to something big, because he's a great heel champ. All right. So, um, I was picking my child up from school, not yesterday, so like probably on Tuesday, and my kid's right there, like near downtown Orlando, her school. So I picked her up, and then on the side of the road, I saw this. What the fuck? A hand done sign, right? And so I took a picture of it. It's just like live pro wrestling Sunday, 23rd at 3 at the Orange, and I couldn't make it out. And so I looked at that picture and I blew it up, and I still couldn't fucking make it out. So then I went and did a search and did a search. Oh, Orange what? Orange. Ah, fuck, fuck, fuck. And then finally digging, 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 and putting in the date of the show and putting in pro wrestling in Orlando, and digging, digging, and then I finally found it. It's this. You know, um, Orange Studio is the name of the place, which is like an artsy venue. I'm already interested, right? I'm already interested because it's very PCW. We used to run in places like the iDrum and in theaters and things, stuff like that. So cool. But I couldn't really find information about the show. It's called Mayhem on Mills. I didn't even find the name of the fucking promotion. So I'm already getting sketched out. I'm just like, oh, what the fuck is this shit? But I was already interested in going to the show, and I'd already gone through this much trouble. And by the way, how many people are going to show up for this fucking thing? Because even 2 days later, that sign wasn't along the road anymore. So I'm like, we'll fucking see. We'll fucking see. And I didn't even know the name of the goddamn promotion. But then I found this. right? So great. So it's called Mayhem on Mills, and had a little more information, not much more, but it had their Twitter. So I don't use Twitter a lot, and maybe that's my fault. And I know a lot of the newer groups are going to use Twitter, like wrestling Twitter is a thing, and I probably need to get on my Twitter more often. But I went to their Twitter hoping I would fucking find shit, and I did. Their Twitter had information, had different posters, and had this fucking promo video. It had other promo videos as I went through the line, but this is the first thing I saw. And I saw it with my kids who were totally into this aesthetic. Here is the video.
Mayhem Bills presents The World of Tomorrow, featuring Orlando's most loathsome wretch, Brennan. He will face off with a mysterious challenger. What is a magical mystery box match? Well, it looks like you and Brennan will just have to wait and see. Mayhem Bills, you've got to be there. World of Tomorrow, February 29th, 2020, Ocoee.
Yeah. Now that's only going to appeal to a very narrow base, but it's very fucking. It's something that PC. I'm not going to say it's very PCW like they copied us. They fucking copy us, but it's very much in the line of something that I would have done. My kids were all about it. Now they were excited to go to the show, which is awesome. Now I'm excited to go to the show. What's the name of the fucking promotion? Well, I finally found a fucking poster here. So my initial reaction is like, it's called Total Punk Wrestling. The fuck? Like, I wouldn't have been into it if you just called it Total Punk Wrestling. If I see Total Punk Wrestling somewhere, I'm just gonna fucking go. Now, I'm not everybody. That might scare some people off, but Total Punk Wrestling, and they got this like steampunk aesthetic, and then they're having a mystery box match, and who knows what that is, and then they're having a ladder match between a female wrestler and a male wrestler. A couple people that I noticed were on the AWE show are on this show in Florida, so I'll finally get to fucking see them. And then I looked at some of their old shows, and they'd had the Ugly Ducklings on one of their shows. I'm fucking excited to go. Here's another thing that's making me really, really, really excited to fucking go, because um they got right back to me. I saw a fucking email, so I emailed them going like, I'm coming to this thing, blah 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 blah, and they're like, yep, great. Can't wait to see you. And then I was just like, and can I get a run sheet or some shit so I don't fuck up anybody's name, because I want to write a report this time, unlike what I was able to do for WXW. And the person's like, sure, that's something that can be arranged. Ask for so and such and such, who I assume is the promoter or the person running it, who I also noticed is a wrestler on the thing. Awesome, down for it. Anyway, so I'm going to Total Punk Wrestling Mayhem on the Mills Sunday, 3 p.m. and it's at the Orange Studio. Tickets, $15. Oh, fuck me. Oh, these $15 tickets are fucking killing me, especially when I'm bringing my kids. So if they want to hook me up, I would definitely appreciate it. Otherwise, I'm going to fucking be there regardless, and I know how it can be. What are my expectations? Again, I'm going to use the same 4 measuring sticks. Do I think that they're going to outdo WXW? It's going to be tough, right? Overall atmosphere, I gave WXW a 4. What am I going to give these guys? It could be higher, because it's in an artsy venue. They've already sort of set up the whole atmosphere of the show. The WXW, as great as I enjoyed the experience overall going in, it was very much an indie wrestling show. It's just a well done indie wrestling show, where these guys look like they might be trying to create a whole world and an aesthetic and a vibe, and it's in an artsy venue. Is it gonna be decorated interestingly? Is everybody gonna be doing like a steampunk theme? I don't know. So they could actually get higher than then 4 out of 5. And those intangibles might work out too, though I imagine the concession stand is not going to be awesome. I could be proven wrong, and I hope that I am. The wrestling, I think that this is where they get a chance to outdo them. The ladder match and the mystery box match might make a good offset to the hardcore match that I was so fucking impressed with at WXW. But we'll see what Total Punk Wrestling does. And for fun and how into this am I, that's going to probably come down to how into it are they. Do they keep a straight face and just let me enjoy this weird fucking world that they're obviously trying to make? Or is this just a fucking indie wrestling show with a little bit of a gimmick that they're not really going to press? I hope it's not that. I hope they really go for it. Nonetheless, I'm going to be there and I'm going to report on it in the next Platinum Show Investigation, where I'm going to talk about a show that I'm going to go to in March that's having their first show. Unless another one pops up, which it may. I didn't think I was going to go to this one, but all it took was a fucking scrawled sign on the side of the road. And now I'm going. And I'm fucking excited. Anyway, Total Punk Wrestling, Mayhem at the Mills this Sunday. I'm excited, and the same 4 standards will apply. So, take care. See you at the matches. And this has been another Platinum Show Investigation.